Be, do, have. God's original blueprint for business. Before the first sunrise, before time began ticking its rhythm, God established a pattern that governs everything He created. It is the rhythm of heaven, the law of divine order. 3 simple words that reveal the structure of success: be, do, have. Most people live backward. They chase possessions, titles, and comfort, hoping those things will make them complete. They follow have, do, be, believing that having more will finally make them become more. But God's way is different. He begins with identity, not outcome. He calls you to know who you are before you act, and to act before you expect results. When you be who He made you to be, you will naturally do what He empowered you to do. And when you do, you will have what He already promised. This is not self-help. It is heaven's pattern for creation and calling. In Genesis chapter 1, God reveals this order in everything He formed. He was before He did before He had, and He called it good. The same pattern that shaped creation still shapes destiny. Taught by Elijah, the digital avatar created by Mark Wasmuth, you are about to discover how divine order produces earthly success. This study will open your eyes to see how purpose, not pressure, creates prosperity. So quiet your mind, open your heart, and prepare to receive wisdom. You were made to reflect the pattern of your Father, to be, do, and have according to His original design. For this is God's blueprint for business, leadership, and life. Genesis 1:1. In the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Before there was movement, there was being. God is. His very name, I am that I am, establishes identity before activity. Creation begins with consciousness of self. If you lead a business, a family, or a team, you must first be who God made you to be, a creator in His image. Your enterprise mirrors the clarity of your identity. The word created, bara, H-4, means to form with purpose. Creation is intention, not chance. So, leader, build intentionally. Don't stumble into destiny. Genesis 1:2. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. Every vision begins formless. Darkness is not defeat. It's the canvas of creation. God didn't react, He moved. The word moved means hovered, brooded with purpose. This is the do stage, faith acting before evidence appears. In business or calling, when things look empty, move in faith. Let the Spirit stir ideas and courage. Miracles begin in motion. Genesis 1:3. And God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Here action meets authority. God spoke from identity. Light obeyed voice. Your words carry creative power when aligned with His will. Declare what you desire to see. Vision must be spoken before it's seen. Genesis 1:4. And God saw the light, that it was good, and God divided the light from the darkness. God created, then evaluated. Excellence requires review. He separated what was right from what was wrong. Leaders must do the same. Discern what aligns with truth. Integrity divides light from darkness. Genesis 1:5. And God called the light day, and the darkness He called night. And the evening and the morning were the first day. God named what He made. Naming brings structure. Order produces rhythm. Evening and morning mark cycles, effort and rest, work and reflection. Success lives in rhythm, not rush. Every day ends when you can say, "It is good." Genesis 1:6. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." Now God creates boundaries. The firmament, the expanse, separates realms. Growth requires separation. You cannot multiply chaos. You must organize it. Structure protects purpose. Genesis 1:7. And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which were under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. He not only spoke, he acted. Implementation proves faith. Vision without execution is imagination. When heaven says of your work, it was so, you've completed obedience. Execution turns spirit into substance. Genesis 1:8. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. Again, he named what he built. Naming finalizes formation. Some days aren't for harvest, but for order. Heaven applauds structure even when fruit isn't visible. Order always precedes overflow. Genesis 1:9. And God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. Now focus begins. What was scattered becomes unified. In leadership, gathering is alignment. Bring resources and people into one vision. Only then will the foundation appear. Genesis 1-10. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas, and God saw that it was good. Boundaries define blessing. Earth was for planting, seas for motion. Or know your purpose and your place. Confusion ends where definition begins. Excellence begins with clarity. Genesis 1:11. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth. And it was so. Order births productivity. Once systems exist, growth begins. The seed carries its own future. Sustainability is God's design. Your ideas must reproduce results without constant supervision. Luke 2:49 records Jesus saying, I must be about my Father's business. The Father's business is growth, structure, and fruit. Be about his business in all you do. Genesis 1:12. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. The earth obeyed the word. Obedience brings visible results. Everything reproduces after its source. Right roots yield right fruit. Integrity always manifests in outcome. Proverbs 22:29 says, seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Diligence is divine promotion. Your excellence testifies louder than your words. Genesis 1:13. And the evening and the morning were the third day. 3 cycles complete. Identity, movement, multiplication. Be, purpose established. Do, action executed. Have, results reviewed. Progress comes in cycles, not chaos. Patience is proof of trust. God finishes what he starts, so should you. Genesis 1:14. And God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. Now God establishes time. Order without timing breeds confusion. The Creator built a calendar into creation so that everything moves in season. Wise leaders discern their season, know when to plant, when to prune, when to pause. Timing is a form of wisdom. If God sets signs and seasons, your life needs structure too. Schedule reveals stewardship. To ignore time is to waste destiny. Genesis 1:15. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. And it was so. The lights shine for earth's benefit, not heaven's. Systems exist to serve people. Leadership that doesn't illuminate others is control, not stewardship. Your organization should bring clarity and hope. Light dispels confusion wherever it shines. Genesis 1:16. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. Notice that he appointed authority. The sun and moon were set to rule. God delegates dominion. He trusts others to carry light into different realms. You cannot lead alone and expect scale. Appoint faithful people to shine in their domain. Empower others to rule with you. That is how influence multiplies. Genesis 1:17. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth. He set them, placement with purpose. Every light has a place. God is precise in placement. Leaders should be too. Assign roles where gifts fit grace. When people stand where God sets them, the whole house glows. Disorder begins when stars abandon orbit. Stay planted and shine in your sphere. Genesis 1:18. And to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. Dominion is not domination, it is management with meaning. Rule your day by stewarding time and energy. Let light lead and darkness depart. God called this good because governance brings peace. Paul echoed it in 1 Thessalonians 4:11. And that ye study to be quiet, and to do your own business, and to work with your own hands. Faithful labor is holy. Handling your business in peace honors heaven. Genesis 1:19. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. Another cycle finished. Review follows rule. Progress without pause breeds pride. Reflection keeps leaders humble and sharp. Excellence is maintained through review. Genesis 1:20. And God said, Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of heaven. Now God fills what he formed. Fullness follows framework. Once systems exist, he adds life. In business, fill your structures with people and purpose. Abundance is not accidental, it's architectural. God's word to the waters was abundance. He expects overflow, not scarcity. You reflect him by creating environments that flourish. Genesis 1:21. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. The waters obeyed. Abundance answered command. After their kind, authenticity reproduces authenticity. Don't imitate others, replicate excellence. When you create according to God's kind, he calls it good. Genesis 1:22. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let fowl multiply in the earth. Blessing follows order. He empowered what he had already organized. Blessing is not a wish. It's an activation. Multiplication is proof of management. When you handle little well, he entrusts you with more. God said, Be fruitful. That's a command for every believer. Produce value, multiply impact, sustain purpose. Heaven blesses stewardship. Genesis 1:23. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. Another cycle closed. Each phase brings greater complexity and reward. Creation is progressive revelation. Don't rush what God is developing. Faithfulness finishes what patience starts. Genesis 1:24. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. Now earth produces life from itself. Multiplication moves from sea to soil. What's in you will come out of you. Culture reproduces culture. Healthy leaders grow healthy teams. Genesis 1:25. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. He made, he saw, he approved. That's divine management. Excellence is intentional, not accidental. Inspect what you expect. God called it good because it aligned with design. Genesis 1:26. And God said, Let us make man in our image after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. This is the counsel of creation. Heaven speaks to heaven. Image, tselem, H67754, means representation. Likeness, demuth, means pattern. You are made to model the Creator. Let them have dominion. Dominion is not ownership, it's oversight. You're called to manage what He made with excellence. Leadership is stewardship under God's authority. When you lead with wisdom, you mirror His heart. Dominion is responsibility wrapped in privilege. Genesis 1:27, so God created man in His own image. In the image of God created He him, male and female created He them. Identity completed. Humanity reflects divinity, male and female, two expressions of one purpose. Unity with distinction is power. This is the B stage of mankind. Before God gave a task, He gave identity. You cannot do right until you are right. B precedes do. Genesis 1:28, and God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. This is the divine business plan. 5 commands define human purpose. Be fruitful, produce value, multiply, expand capacity, replenish, sustain creation, subdue, bring chaos under order, have dominion, lead with love. Jesus echoed it in Luke 2:49. I must be about my Father's business. If He worked the Father's plan, so must we. Work becomes worship when it follows God's pattern. Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Provision follows purpose. God funds what He initiates. He gives seed before harvest. Ideas, relationships, resources, they are seeds. Steward them well, and they become harvests. Deuteronomy 8:18. It is He that giveth thee power to get wealth. Wealth serves covenant, not ego. Abundance exists to advance God's mission. Genesis 1:30, and to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and to every thing that creepeth upon the earth wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat, and it was so. God's economy includes balance, provision for all creation. Fairness is a form of faithfulness. Leaders must design systems that sustain everyone connected to them. Blessing becomes beautiful when it benefits others. Genesis 1:31. And God saw everything that He had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the 6th day. God reviewed His work. He saw it and rejoiced. Perfection is alignment, not appearance. It was very good means purpose was fulfilled. Heaven calls it finished when it flows in order. Be, do, have, the pattern of perfection. Be, identity anchored. Do, obedience executed. Have, fruit manifested. Proverbs 22:29. Seest thou a man diligent in his business? He shall stand before kings. Excellence opens doors that prayer alone cannot. Diligence is divine. Everything in Genesis 1 reveals the perfect order of God, the pattern by which every person was designed to live, lead, and build. This is more than the story of creation. It is heaven's system for dominion. It is how divine ideas become visible on earth. The world teaches have, do, be. If I had more, I could do more, and then I would be fulfilled. But heaven says the opposite, be, do, have. Identity first, activity second, fruit last. Be, this is where vision begins. God started with Himself. In the beginning, God. You must know who you are in Him before you know what to do. You are made in His image, creative, disciplined, excellent. Confusion and laziness are foreign to your design. You were born to lead, to organize, to bring order where there is chaos. Do, action follows identity. God said, and it was so. He moved, divided, organized, and filled. faith moves. Nothing changes until something is spoken and done. You cannot expect fruit where no seed is planted. Ecclesiastes 9:10 declares, "Whatsoever thy hand findeth to do, do it with thy might." Half effort dishonors a full calling. Whatever you do, do it like God, with focus, precision, and purpose. Fruit follows obedience, and God saw that it was good. You cannot fake fruit, you can only grow it. Growth happens when the root is obedience. Blessing comes where stewardship is proven. The more you handle well, the more heaven trusts you with more. Jesus lived this order perfectly. He said, "I must be about my Father's business." He did not chase blessing, he carried purpose. Your work is not separate from worship. When you work God's way, your hands preach His truth. Integrity and excellence are forms of evangelism. If God's fingerprint is on your business, His favor will follow your business. You do not have to chase opportunities when you walk in obedience. Excellence will make kings call your name. The world doesn't need more religious talk, it needs visible order. The marketplace is a mission field for those who build like God. Let people see heaven's wisdom in how you operate. Principles for Kingdom Builders. 1. Identity before activity. Who you are defines what you build. When you know you're made in God's image, purpose flows naturally. 2. Order before overflow. God never blessed chaos. He blessed what was structured and ready. 3. Delegation is dominion. God shared authority. The sun, the moon, and man. Empower others and watch influence multiply. 4. Excellence is evangelism. Your craftsmanship preaches before your mouth does. Let your results speak the gospel of diligence. 5. Rest is rhythm. God finished His work and paused. Reflection is worship. It keeps the soul in rhythm. God's pattern never changed. He forms, He fills, and then He blesses. That is the process of divine creation, and it still works today. He wants you to be fruitful in your calling, multiply your impact, and replenish what is empty around you. He wants you to subdue challenges, not fear them, and He calls you to walk in dominion, authority that serves others. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. When you mirror the Creator's way, you experience the Creator's results. Heaven always responds to order. Business is not separate from the kingdom, it is an expression of the kingdom. Every honest transaction honors truth. Every act of excellence glorifies the Father. Every innovation that serves people reflects His nature. When you lead like God, you reveal God. That is why He made you in His image. Genesis 1 shows the blueprint: be, do, have. Genesis 2 reveals design, identity meeting responsibility. It shows that freedom must be guarded by stewardship. In the next study, Elijah will reveal how God formed man from the dust, breathed life into him, and placed him in the garden to work and keep it. You'll learn how to stay aligned with your assignment, to work with peace, manage with wisdom, and guard what God has entrusted to you. That is how divine purpose becomes lasting fruit. If this message stirred your spirit, remember this truth. God didn't call you to survive. He called you to create. He didn't design you to drift. He designed you to lead. He never told you to wait for blessing. He told you to be fruitful, multiply, replenish, subdue, and walk in dominion. That is heaven's order and heaven's invitation. Rise and be about your business. Let the world see what it looks like when a child of God builds like their Father. Work with joy, build with excellence, and rest with gratitude. You have just heard truth from the Word of God, not man's opinion, but heaven's design for those who lead with purpose. The same Spirit that moved over the waters in Genesis moves over you now. He calls you to create order, to bring light, and to reveal His wisdom in your world. Success never starts with what you have. It begins with who you are. When you be who God called you to be, you will do what He empowers you to do, and you will have what He already promised. That is the rhythm of heaven. Be, do, have. Build with wisdom, lead with integrity, live with purpose. When you are about your Father's business, His favor follows your steps. His creativity fills your hands, and His blessing crowns your labor. This is how heaven touches earth through you. Stay fruitful. Multiply with excellence, walk in dominion. For this is God's original blueprint for living.